All right, welcome back to the Let It Fly show. I am, of course, Michael Severe. Josh Jones out this week, joined by Creighton point guard Steven Ashworth, joining us here on the Let It Fly show. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Excited to be here, and thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you taking the time. I'm reading through your bio, and I see you got brothers or triplets, another brother, they're you. What was the house like? And I know you were little, but when the triplets come home, that's got to be just crazy, because you go from two kids in the house to all of a sudden 5 kids in the house.
Yeah, absolutely. My parents, they talk a lot about just that experience for them, and me being 3 years old, I don't remember it too well.
Right.
But they talk a lot about going from man-to-man defense to zone
quickly,
in a matter of a from 2 to 3 pretty quick. And so they were throughout that time, they're also thinking, okay, maybe we'll have 1 more kid, 2 more kids, maybe a family of 3 kids, 4 kids. Then all of a sudden you have 5, just like that. And so
you're like, that's it.
Yep, they're done. But it was super fun growing up with 4 brothers and having an older brother that you know what older brothers can be like, of motivating and pushing, and then also having 3 younger ones that are always ready to have fun or fight, whatever type of
How
thing.
competitive was the house? I mean, we always joke about how you're always going to have a sibling you're always going against, but you got 4 other ones to deal with. How was that?
It was good. I mean, there was a healthy bit of competition, but also our family was a very loving family, caring family, and supportive family. And so I think that as we grew up, it actually became interesting to where kind of everybody started doing their own thing, as opposed to a lot of times I feel like families stick to kind of one sport. You see the Mannings in football, you see the Ball brothers in basketball, other families like that. But my older brother, really heavy into mountain biking, and my younger brothers, golf, soccer, and then snowmobiling, wakeboarding, outdoor sports. So it's a really good balance, which makes it fun that every single season we've got something going on and somebody doing something different.
Anybody else doing it at the college level?
No, I had my 2 younger brothers. They had opportunities to play soccer at the college level and then golf at the college level, but they wanted to stay closer to home, and so they still have those passions, but just not playing collegiately.
Do you all ride mountain bike together ever? Because that is the scariest thing. I watch the videos on Instagram, people running into trees and stuff. I'm like, I don't know how people do that. It's crazy.
No, it is. And especially with where my basketball career is at right now, I stay away from those types of things. But we have fun as a family doing outdoor stuff, whether it's mountain biking or motorcycling. Just like to be well-rounded and have a lot of different hobbies. And so it's fun.
Steven Ashworth joining us here on Let It Fly show. How have you and your wife adapted to the Midwest?
I think we've adapted very smoothly. I think that the Midwest has been very welcoming, just how we thought. There's that Midwest love, that Midwest camaraderie amongst the community, and being a Blue Jay as well has helped, I think, accelerate that process. Yeah. Just because when we go out throughout town, or she owns a flower shop, and she had probably 20 orders for Valentine's Day, just from community members and even teammates that wanted to support her and in her dreams and passions. And so the community's been awesome. We love Omaha, and it's only a 2-hour flight for our family, so it's been really easy.
What's the name of the flower shop?
Forget Me Not Floral.
Really?
Yep. So
how did that happen so quickly?
I mean, she had a passion for flowers when we were in Logan, and financially we needed her to have a second job, and so let's get something going. So she started doing flowers, but she was also working in the hospital in Utah. And then when we came here, there was different opportunities, and so she said, I want to kind of chase the flower passion, and so she got on it, and so she's been doing great, and it's been fun to watch her with her creativity and just her passion for it, and she's very, very talented.
She's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, she is. She's the entrepreneur of the family. So
that is awesome.
Yep, I just try to sit back and play basketball, do school, and she entrepreneurs.
Yeah. We are Midwest nice, Nebraska nice.
Yes.
But there was some criticism early in the season because people expected you to be shooting at, I guess, 50%, or I don't know, and you weren't. Obviously, it's come around, but how did you handle some of the doubt, maybe?
I think for me, it's always been a thing that pressure's a privilege. And I remember somebody asking me that, it's like, do you feel more pressure because everybody expects every shot to go in? And personally, I think there'd be more pressure if people thought you weren't going to make it when you shot it, right? And
No.
Yeah, right? So with just with that confidence from people and confidence in my teammates, my coaches, myself. There was that doubt from maybe the outside, but at the same time, Coach Mack's always done a great job of reminding everybody that the only voices that matter are the ones that are inside the circle when we huddle every single day, and those voices are the ones that are going to give you the confidence that you need, and also the constructive feedback you need at times when you need to improve certain things. And so during those stretches early on, it was a lot of getting used to the familiarity with teammates, with schemes, with different things. And I think that now I'm starting to play Steven Ashworth basketball, and it feels really good.
I've always believed, especially when it comes to something like shooting, you ever heard of the P's?
I don't know if I have.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
I like it.
If you practice enough at that, you're going to get better. You were already a good shooter, so you knew it would come back, right? You knew that you would get to the point where you were shooting before.
Absolutely. I mean, with anything with reps, right, it's going to give you that confidence. It's going to give you that, like you said, the preparation and all of that. And I knew that I'd spent more hours than almost anybody I'd ever met shooting the basketball. And I have teammates that have spent those hours with me and have seen me make countless shots in a row and hard, difficult shots. So when it matters most, I know that they have confidence in me and I have confidence in myself. And then with all of that preparation, the great thing about a team sport is that it goes two ways, that I have that confidence in them when it comes down to it as well. So
Steven Ashworth joining us here on the Let It Fly show. If there was a concern, I thought, how would your defense be against the Big East players? Because there are a lot of big guys, there's physical guys, and I think obviously you've proven, especially when you're going against some of the better guards in the league, that you're good defensively. Can you talk about working on that? Because everybody loves to go out and shoot.
Yeah.
But working the defense, your footwork and all of that, that's not the fun part all the time.
Absolutely, and I think that defense is sometimes an afterthought, especially in the recruiting scheme.
Yeah.
You don't really hear about how much you're going to have to play defense, and I think that Mac made a joke about that the other day that, I told Steven he was going to get a lot of open shots. I didn't tell him he'd have to guard, but that obviously comes. And so coming into the Big East and understanding just the assignments every single night that you're playing a top-tier guard, and that's why I wanted to come to the Big East, because I have aspirations to play in the NBA, and if you want that, you got to be able to prove at the college level that you can play both sides of the ball. And obviously in the portal, my offensive prowess was what kind of highlighted my game, but at the same end, I think that I have a defensive tenacity and just a toughness that allows me to be a better defender than people might think. And there's a lot of mental preparation that goes into my defensive side as well, whether it's watching film and understanding the scheme or understanding the tendencies of the guys that I'm guarding. And I give a lot of credit to Mitch Belloc, actually.
Belloc.
Belloc. He's a sharpshooter himself, but at the same time, him and I, funny enough, locked in on the defensive side, and he's been a huge help to me of giving me that confidence on the defensive side of things. And then I think you just see the strides that are coming, and there's still room to grow, and that's the fun part about basketball, is that you're never done improving and growing.
Did you remember the first time you had the dream of playing in NBA? Like, how old were you? When did you start thinking about it? Was there a player that you went like, I want to be like that guy?
Yeah, definitely Jimmer Fredette.
Really?
Yep. He was
he came here, by the way, for a game against Creighton, and Creighton destroyed. He had his worst game, I think, of his whole college career.
Well, it's funny because I got here, and one of our ball screen coverages is called Jimmer, and I want to say it's because Max put it in when they were playing them, and it's like it's a trap the ball screen type of coverage. And so I grew up watching him, going to his games, and obviously understanding that he was going to be a lottery pick. And I thought, he shoots the ball so well. He's crafty. He makes the right play. He's probably only an inch taller than me, so if he can do it, I think I can do it. And that's kind of what gave me the motivation. And then obviously got the opportunity to play collegiately at Utah State, and then now here at the biggest level and the best conference in the country, in the Big East. So making strides towards that goal, but still room to grow and opportunities ahead.
It's funny you mentioned him, because the next question I was going to ask you is a little bit about his weakness, because he was a little loose with the ball at times, had some turnovers. The last 9 games, you've been great assist-turnover ratio. Can you kind of talk about what's changed, or how you kind of turn that around a little bit? It wasn't bad before, but it's really good now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great either. We can be honest. And
it was 2.7 to 1. Yeah. But now it's over 3.
Yeah, exactly. And as a point guard, typically you want it over 2 to 1, and then If you want to be an elite point guard, you're getting 3-1, 3.5, all of those. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I think a lot of it comes down to understanding where our spacing points are going to be in the game. I think that early on, I was still trying to figure out where guys were going to help off of and where guys weren't going to help off of. And it's obvious that we have shooters all around. And so I think that whether it's the different angles of ball screens or the different guys on different sides of the floor that make my pick and roll game better or their pick and roll game better, and then let's say that Trey's in the pick and roll and I'm on the wing, understanding if it's Baylor or Mason in that corner, that if their guy comes to help off me, I've got a quick one more that's going to be an assist 50% of the time. And so just understanding those little nuances of the game, I think, have improved my facilitation. And then with all of that, there's going to be less turnovers, I think, as well, when you're understanding the game just a little bit more mentally.
Do you have, because you guys are so good at having a different leading scorer a lot. In the pregame, you guys are shooting around, getting your warm-up on. Do you go, oh, he looks like he's going to be hot tonight, or I'm going to be good? Do you ever see that in the pregame?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot that goes into the mental side of just the confidence that guys have before the game and kind of feeling it out. And then also there's different opportunities where there's certain matchups that we know if we need a bucket we can kind of go at, or there's certain coverages that the other team's going to have. And so I think Baylor does a really good job of that as well, of being another coach on the floor. I mean, last night, was it 2 nights ago, we had a play called for me, actually, and he's like, hey, let's run this for Trey. He just hit 3 in a row. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we put Trey in the action. He comes off the screen. Baylor passes him 4-3 in a row. And it's just like those things that you're kind of reading it as the game goes on. And the other thing about our different leading scorer every night is that, you know, all of us just want to win. And that's unique with some of the teams in this day and age. And so to be able to have that awareness, I think, is super cool from all 5 guys on the court at one time.
We were talking about it in here earlier. How surprised were you that Creighton's never had a triple-double with points, rebounds, and assists before then?
Yeah, before Baylor. I was shocked. When I heard it on the intercom, I thought it was the first triple-double ever, which I was like,
no way. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that, I think, being the first. But at the same time, then I found out that the other triple-double was with blocks, and I think I was just as equally surprised.
Benoit Benjamin had like 600 blocks at Creighton.
Yeah.
He was ridiculous.
Yeah, unreal.
Yeah.
But, no, it was super cool. I had a feeling that something was happening because I think at assist number 9, Baylor got a really big smile on his face.
Yeah, he did.
And I was like, he might be close to something. But it was cool. Great for him. I think it's just another opportunity to put a 1 of 1 next to his name because that's the type of guy he is. Just 1 of 1, super special player.
Steven Ashworth joining us here on the Let It Fly show. It's not flopping. There is an ability to be able to get a foul called at times by doing things.
Yeah.
Do you work on that? Is it because you are very good at getting a call? Because sometimes on the replay you're like, he didn't really even get touched. But how do you work on that, or is it just instinct? How do you do it?
Yeah, it's I think it goes along with just kind of who I've had to be as a player. I've had to be crafty. I've had to be smart, and I don't quite have the length or athleticism that other guys might. And so, especially on the defensive end, that means I just have to be that more locked in because any subtle mistake on my part is just going to be magnified. So when you're seeing those types of plays, if I know that I'm behind and I see that the big man extends his screen, it makes sense for me to fall down because of the fact that it's an illegal move.
Right.
But then at the same time, if I don't, I'm that much further behind my defender, giving him that much more of an advantage. And so I also am an individual who really likes fairness. And so when it comes to officiating, I understand that if they're calling something against us, then they're also most likely going to call it against the other team if we do it. So thinking kind of the game within the game type of a thing is something that I think I've done since high school, and it kind of carries over. And I think against Xavier, I had 3 charges, and those small things can kind of swing the momentum because then the big man is worried about a screen rather than even being a scorer in the pick and roll type of thing.
Right, no doubt. I meant to look this up before and I forgot. But last time you played Butler, 99-98. That's the highest scoring game you ever been a part of in college?
I believe so, yeah. It was definitely the highest level shot making I had ever seen in the college game.
Yeah. It wasn't bad defense as much as it was great shooting, right? That's what it felt like when watching it.
That's what it felt like in the game. And then when you go back and watch the numbers and just the way that we grade good shots, bad shots, tough shots, just a good bucket, like you go through all of those metrics, and it really showed that, yeah, there are some breakdowns. There were some opportunities where both teams missed an assignment. But at the same time, you still got to hit the shot, and guys did time and time again. And so it was something to behold, and hopefully when we go to Hinkle, it's not the same story.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. What have you, from watching that, playing them already, getting ready for this, what have you learned?
Yeah, I think that a big part of it was just making sure that we're solid on every single coverage that we're in, whether it's different ball screens or offensively, really reading the different ball screen coverage that they're going to be in, because there's some opportunities that I think that Kalk and different guys can really take advantage of if we're on point with that. But at the same time, it's going to be a lot of, can we force them to miss shots?
Right.
Can we keep them out of the paint? Can we limit second chances? A lot of the same things that every game consists of is going to be at the forefront again on Saturday, but just doing it a little bit better than we did when they came to our place.
I know Mac would never allow you, and you'd never do it, but look ahead, right? Because you got this game coming up on Saturday. But
absolutely.
Then you play UConn, number one team in the country, number one team in the Big East, that kind of thing. Do you think about that kind of matchup? Because you know it's going to be on TV. It's going to be a big deal. Tuesday night, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Do you think about that at all, or do you just stop yourself because you know you got Saturday?
You know, it's a little bit of both. I think that obviously we're eventually going to play that game, and so it's important, right? But the most important game is your next game, and that's how we had to prepare going into Georgetown, and now that's how we have to prepare going into Butler. But at the same time, it's always fun to be able to play games that everybody cares about, right? And I think that, not looking too far ahead, UConn has a tough one against Marquette, right, that they've got to prepare for on Saturday before they come and play us Tuesday. And so I think the thing that I look forward to the most is that every game down the stretch here is a big game in the Big East. And it's big for seeding. It's big for tournament implications. It's big for goals of just finishing out the season the best way that you want to, because we obviously know that when it comes Big East tournament time and NCAA tournament time, the teams that often win it are the teams that are playing their best basketball, not always the teams that were most talented. And so I think we're in a really good spot. We've figured out some really good things offensively and defensively, and I think recommitted in some areas as well. And so looking forward to these last 5-6 games that we've got.
You may not be old enough for this, and you grew up obviously on the other side of the country, but is it weird to see Georgetown not good? For people my age, it's even my wife the other night, she's like, are they this bad? I go, they've been this bad for a while. Is that because they were decent when you were a kid, right? Because they had a 2 seed, I remember. They had some runs in the tournament. Is it a little weird to see them not be good?
It is different having just different brands being so big in college basketball, and I think that it's the parity with the transfer portal, with guys being older, having the 5th year, having guys. I think NIL has changed the dynamic of college basketball from a large scheme. Exclude the transfer portal, just guys being more mature in a college basketball game. You see better plays being made, less mistakes. Yeah. And you used to talk about it 3 or 4 years ago. The biggest key to tournament success was, did you have seniors on your roster going into the tournament? And you saw that's why a lot of schools struggled at times with some of the elite caliber players they had. They were just younger. And now you have a lot of teams from high major to mid major to low major that have experienced guys. And so
FAU last year.
Yeah, exactly, right? And once again this year. And so I think it's definitely different seeing so many different brands have high quality resumes, or some of those big name brands having low quality resumes. But at the same time, Coach Cooley's a coach that has,
he's gonna get it done.
Exactly. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of willpower, and he'll get the right guys into Georgetown, and that's a place that you can recruit too, because it's got such a big brand. And
and it's Washington D.C.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Big city.
It's cool to live there.
Yeah, no doubt. Funny enough, my first tournament experience was in Indianapolis in the bubble, and we shared a court with Georgetown.
Oh, okay.
When we had to practice.
That was the year they got the upset they won the Big East tournament.
They won the Big East tournament.
Yeah.
I want to say they beat us.
They did badly. It was bad.
Which was
it was very weird, because they weren't a very good team that year. They just got in a run, like you mentioned. Yeah,
exactly. Got hot at the right time.
Yeah. what was your favorite pro team growing up, regardless of sports?
My favorite pro team growing up got to be the Los Angeles Lakers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
My dad and mom actually both were born in Las Vegas, and then moved up to Utah to go to school, and then lived in Utah ever since. And my dad growing up would go to Lakers and Dodgers games, and so those were kind of the LA ties. And a lot of my friends were Jazz fans, and the Lakers and Jazz would meet up in the whether it was the Western Conference Finals or just the first round in the Western Conference. And so I always loved cheering on Kobe and Derek Fisher, Andrew Bynum, Pau Gasol. Those are my guys, and it was fun to watch them win a few championships.
What is it about Kobe? Because even people who still play now, they talk about Kobe, about as a player. And this is before he passed away, too. They just, something about his mindset, other players like or follow. What is it about for him for you?
I think for me, it's just his tenacity to never give up, and that it didn't matter what anybody else thought, what anybody else said. All that matters was what he was willing to do. Yeah. And he believed that he was willing to do anything and everything more than what the guy across from him was going to do. Oh, yeah. And that's what gave him that confidence to kind of be that killer that he was. And I think that that's kind of the identity that I've tried to adopt, is I've got to be willing to outwork you. And once I'm not willing to outwork you, then it's probably time for me to hang it up.
Right.
Because that means that I'm not giving my full to that. And that's where I think that he was as well, is that he always gave his full commitment to something, and you saw the success that he had from it. Yeah. And so when us younger guys are able to kind of see that same mentality and see the success from it, I think it's easy to relate to a guy like Kobe.
Yeah, there's a video where he talks about getting up at 4 a.m. and doing his first workout, and then he goes, he eats, he's on a workout at noon, and then he's like, by that point, I'm ahead of you by 2 workouts. And he's just like, got in his mind. I was like, dude, get some rest.
No, yeah, he's doing some mental math that I'm like trying to juggle through, and I've done a lot of workouts. Yeah. I don't know if that's a real story or not, but it's a great motivator.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Last thing, you majored in business.
Yes.
And minoring in entrepreneurism, or that. Funny that your wife's an entrepreneur. Yeah. Do you have any ideas, like on a little book of things, like businesses you want to start eventually when you're done with basketball or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely.
You don't have to give them up because I don't want anybody to take them, but do you do that?
If we want to sign a non-disclosure, we can discuss
DA right here.
Yeah. But there's definitely a lot of things that I want to do when it comes to business. I studied marketing as well at Utah State, had a few marketing classes, and really just love and kind of feel like I understand that business, and have actually been able to use that with my NIL opportunities here in Omaha as well as in Logan before. And so I think there's some businesses when it comes to that, of just helping athletes at different universities improve their name, image, and likeness value through social media marketing. And then I also really love hosting basketball camps. And so I think there's a market in that for high school coaches to better improve their high school basketball camps. And then, with all of that, you can quickly and easily become a data company with all the information you have about parents and their emails. And so I think there's just a lot in the
You've
world
thought
of
about
business
this.
that you can go into. And then when it comes to business, I also think it's important to have a passion behind it. And I think sports is my passion, and basketball. And so to be able to find something in the near future that kind of connects the two, I think would be super fun, and hoping to start someday soon.
One more question. Out of all the young kids on the team, who's the one that you've had to be like, so you're the older guy, big brother, whatever, surrogate father, and why is it Mason Miller?
Mason's my guy. I love Mason. He's a big time homie, and he's just a grinder. He's always there after practice. He doesn't need too much of a pep talk because he'll be there working. And so I love Mace. I love all the guys. Great team to be a part of. Super good locker room. Yeah. And
you blended right in. You assimilated like that.
Yeah, it's been good. And I think that just a life lesson of whenever you care about people, it's going to be easier to connect with people. And that's what's great about sports, is that I feel like it's so easy to get on the same page, and you're working for a common goal, and so you can get really close with each other pretty quick. So
good luck going forward the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Steven Ashworth, we appreciate him. All right, we appreciate Steven Ashworth for joining us here on the Let It Fly show. I don't know who next week is, but I'm pretty sure Josh Jones will be back. We'll get into a bunch of stuff, including Nebraska and Creighton basketball going down the stretch. We'll check that out as well. Again, it looks like right now, according to bracketologists, Creighton has a 4 seed somewhere in there, and Nebraska, an 11 seed, maybe could work their way if they can get some road wins to a 10 seed. So we'll check that out as well. Mention special thanks to our sponsor, Bud Light, for all they do for us. Again, reminder, if you're going out, coming to the sports bar, you're hanging out at home, you're in the basement, you're in the garage, wherever it is, Bud Light brings you easy drinking and easy buckets throughout Nebraska. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy. Also want to thank our executive producer, Phil McLean, for setting up the guests, technical director, Val Elvis, and Mac as well, who's running the board tonight, and our social media maven, all the pictures you see and everything, Meg as well. We appreciate her for doing all that work. As Josh would say, it's Let It Fly show. You know how we do it.